Why bother mastering something? Why test a hybrid engine for over 6 million miles? Why hand-tune an audio system? Why include the most advanced active safety system in its class, Standard? Because when you want to create an entirely new feeling, the difference between excellence and mastery is all the difference in the world. The Lexus ES. Every curve, every innovation, every feeling, a product of mastery. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Please welcome the host for the 2021 Upper Midwest Emmy Chapter Golden Silver Circle Honors Dinner, Sheletta Brundage and Tane Danger.
Thank you very much. Oh, this is so exciting.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, wait, is that the applause that they gave us? We should try that again. Go over there. I'm going to go over here because I think they can do better than that. Let's try this again.
What?
Let's try this again.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, we're going to just do it. I love that we're on a very tight time schedule, but we're going to do this for more applause. Okay, ready? One more. They're going to do the whole lights again, too. Okay, here we go. Are you going to make them do the voiceover, too? Okay, is that possible? Okay, yes, they say. Ready?
Yes, of course. Where's the little voice of God people? Should we just walk?
I think we should just... Oh, there it goes.
Please welcome the host for the 2021 Upper Midwest Emmy Chapter Golden Silver Circle Honors Dinner, Sheletta Brundage and Tane Danger.
That's great. That's good. Look at this. This is amazing. Oh, I'm so excited. Good evening, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to the Upper Midwest Emmy Night. Oh, I'm so excited to be
Oh, my God.
here.
It is such an honor to be here. This is pretty cool. I don't know if you know this. We may be making history tonight. We are the first non-TV video type folks to host this event.
Budget cuts.
Yes. But the stage is live and the audience is our jam. We'll be having a good time tonight, right? Yes.
Yeah. And this is special because we are back in person and we are so happy to have everybody back in person. So, something to remember about being back in person in a room is cell phones are annoying. And so, this is the moment, if you can, I would say turn off your cell phones. I don't believe cell phones have that capacity anymore.
No.
But you can turn off the ringer on your cell phone. Now is a good moment to do that so that we can all make sure that we are focused on these incredible honorees we have this evening.
Oh my God, Tane, we're gonna start tonight by inducting 5 people into the prestigious Upper Midwest Emmys Chapter Gold and Silver Circles Honor Society. Yes! Now, of course, the gold circle symbolizes 50 years. The silver circle recognizes 25 years or more. That's my cousin. That's my play cousin over there. When your cousin in the room, you could pick a fight with people and you have backup. So if anybody mess with me, I got backup.
The people that we're honoring tonight have made a significant contribution to the television industry. This is well and above what is required by their job. Tonight's honorees answer to the highest standards of integrity and honor in all aspects of their personal and professional lives.
Our first honoree tonight is Stu Schwartz, a man who spent nearly 60 years in this business.
Stu spent most of his career at KMSP, started in advertising and promotion, and eventually became general manager. Over 2 decades, Stu had several noticeable accomplishments, demonstrating commitments to his employees and the community.
And you know, Stu was serious about this thing long before we started using the term ally and the hashtags. He hired the first woman account executive who went on to become a GM herself in the Twin Cities market. And then, yes, give it up to him, baby. Give it up. And while everybody's fighting for a seat at the table, he also led the way in diversity by hiring the first person of color co-anchor the news. Now, yes, come on now. These are all things which helped KMSP become the #1 independent station, not just in our region, but in the country.
MSP TV, its beginnings, its success, and its impact on the community is forever linked to the Schwartz family. Don Schwartz began the legacy, and Stuart Schwartz took the promising beginnings of a television station and forged them into what would become a broadcasting force. In the late 70s, as general sales manager, Stu saw an affiliation switch from ABC to independent as the perfect opportunity to achieve ratings and revenue success. KMSP would go on to become the #1 independent station in the country. Stu was committed to making KMSP a market leader by investing in the people who would be part of its future.
He gave me an opportunity that most women didn't have back in 1977, where he hired me as the first female sales rep that Channel 9 had.
The commitment to local news was a priority. A number of firsts were achieved in the KMSP newsrooms.
You see, Stu decided to take a very untested, unknown, passionate young woman and make her the first African-American primetime newscaster, not only in the Twin Cities, but in the state of Minnesota.
As a sports fan, Stu understood the devotion of Minnesotans to their teams. KMSP proudly became the home to professional hockey's return to Minnesota. And through Stu's commitment, Minnesota high school sports always had a home.
Stu wanted to make sure that everybody was treated the same way and that every community had an opportunity to be successful and to see themselves on television, which was an important thing for all of us during that period of time.
Small and major broadcasters alike have benefited from his decades of experience. Stuart Schwartz's time in local broadcasting has left an important legacy of competition, accomplishment, and community.
He was a leader in the community. He showed others around the country how to operate independent stations, which wasn't always easy. But one thing about Stu, if he gave you his word, you could absolutely count on it.
You know, there were doubters at the time, I remember, saying, you know, you'll never be able to compete with those other stations in Minnesota. If somebody told us we couldn't do something, we were going to do all we could to prove them wrong.
Stu is an innovator. He didn't follow trends, he didn't follow tradition. He did what was right for business and what was right for the community. And the rest is history.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome and honor Stu Schwartz.
Well, thank you for the applause. As you can see, I'm an old man. The reason I'm walking slow is I have a new knee that was just put in. I'd like to share with you, to start off with, one of the mistakes I originally made when I'm looking out at this room. In the late 90s, I received a phone call from Stan Hubbard, who you just saw in there, Stanley S. Hubbard. He wanted to start this chapter. I was reluctant at the time to go along with him because I enjoyed watching all of you guys beating those big guys in Chicago for awards. Obviously, Stan persuaded me, and as I look around from what the first banquet was like, where I had the opportunity to attend, to what JJ and your board and your past boards have done is amazing. You guys are incredible, and you should thank everyone that's involved with that. At the first banquet, they were showing my father, who received the Silver Award, along with, in the memory of Stanley E. Hubbard. And I have just had an enormous amount of gratitude for everything that's happened. It's actually 20 years ago this week that I left KMSP, so it's been a while. And I've enjoyed not only all the years I spent at KMSP, but I've had the privilege of consulting after leaving with Red River Broadcasting, with the Hubbard Broadcasting Company, which included the 2 stations here and Reels Cable, working with the Wild, the High School League, and plus some other TV stations outside of this area. You know, the word sometimes as a team is used as a cliche. I'm not using it as a cliche when I tell you this. I was very fortunate, the owners that we had, which was Chris Kraft Broadcasting and United Television. They were amazing to work for, and they treated me very well. And the people at KMSP were unbelievable. It really was a team that made me look good. They were willing to challenge me, to tell me when they thought I was wrong, and I needed that feedback as well, because I wasn't always right, as I'm sure some of the employees I had will attest to, and probably some of my family too. Speaking of family, in a way this is like a third generation, and I'm the second generation. I'd like to just tell you, my oldest son Rick, when he was practicing law, before he went over to become an executive of United Health, he did the contracts with KMSP, with the Twins and the Wild. He oversaw, which I'm sure you news people will appreciate, our investigative reports so we wouldn't get sued. So he went over the scripts. And he also did, what some of you might not like, our talent contracts. My son Rob, he interned with the TV Academy in Los Angeles. When he was in business school, a gentleman who some of you may remember by the name of Brandon Tartikoff hired him, and he started off at NBC Prime Time. And now he's fortunate to be a senior vice president at Reels Cable, which is a Hubbard Broadcasting Company. He's a past member, or a board member of the Academy, and he's a past officer of the Academy in Los Angeles. And then there's my youngest son, Ronnie, who worked at the State Fair, but he saw what I did and the mistakes I made and maybe what some of us have made. So he decided he was going to save us. He now teaches social work at a college in Northern California. And the captain of our team is my wife, Susie. She's been there for my back for every time, the good and the bad times, and I couldn't be here without her. Thank you. And for all of you, your board, JJ, everybody, I want to thank you so much for honoring me with this recognition. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
That was very moving. So this year's Circle class demonstrates a substantial commitment of service to our industry, to our chapter, to our communities, and those working or training to be in this profession.
Let me tell you something about this next man. I have a tremendous crush on him.
That's true.
Him. Oh my
I
God.
saw it outside.
I attacked him outside. I was like, Bill Hudson! Bill Hudson! It's Bill Hudson! Yeah, okay, so Bill Hudson, let me get back in my host voice. Bill Hudson considers himself a small town kid who gets to tell big stories about people and their communities. Originally from Elk River, Minnesota, yeah, Bill worked in Eau Claire, Milwaukee, before coming home to WCCO TV.
Bill spent his career being the go-to guy for big national stories to local stories on Main Street.
It was a small town, and I lived on the bad side of town. I lived in Upper Town.
While growing up, Bill Hudson's hometown of Elk River only had a couple thousand people, but no shortage of characters. That led to an early appreciation for all walks of life.
Rich or poor, white or black, it doesn't matter.
Sports to storytelling. Bill's dad printed a newspaper, so journalism was in his blood from the start. His reporting career began in 1980 in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
When such widespread damage occurs to a system as large as NSP's,
Then it was off to Milwaukee.
Spent 5 years there, a little over 5 years there, and then got the call to come back to CCO, and happiest day of my life.
The station he watched growing up watched him grow into a standout storyteller.
My first day on the job reporting was, here's an airline ticket, fly to Chicago. You're going to Chicago to do a live shot on the 6 o'clock. It was a Saturday.
Through the years, WCCO sent Bill around the world, from the top of Mount Rushmore.
But it's not erosion that's a major cause of concern in this massive mountain of granite.
To the bottom of Lake Superior. Stories in places like Bosnia, Saudi Arabia, and Panama. Blizzards in the Midwest and hurricanes in the South. Photojournalist and friend Dave Cheney had a front row seat to Bill's career.
Class act, partner.
And someone with great compassion for those he meets. During the Gulf War, Bill was sent to the home of a family who had just lost a son overseas.
Dale Panchot Jr. Never forget the guy's name. And it just, that moment that they have enough faith or confidence in you to want to talk in the midst of their deepest grief, stuck with me all these years.
It was those stories that made Bill stronger and grew his love for his home state. Tales of the outdoors were his real passion.
Though pushed aside by other forms of winter travel.
From snowshoeing and kayaking to canoe making.
They're not made like spaghetti, that's for sure.
Joe Seliga, what a character he was. 91 years old, building these beautiful cedar woodstrip canoes.
For as long as man's traversed this border wilderness, there's been heard the gentle swish of wood on water.
He's the best writer because he has that compassion. And working with him it's like working with your brother.
Now, the man affectionately known as the dad of the WCCO newsroom is making time for his family.
It's the saddest day and the happiest day. I'm sad because my friend is leaving, but I'm happy because he's leaving for the right reasons and he's going to be with his family.
Bill will leave the job behind, but not the love he has for the people.
Be human, be humble, and be caring, genuinely caring, like you would a neighbor. Treat people the way you would want to be treated.
Ladies and gentlemen, please match Sheleta's enthusiasm for Mr. Bill Hudson, everybody.
This is too much. This is overwhelming. And I've never used the presidential teleprompters before. That's kind of cool. Many thanks to the NATAS board, especially for putting me up for this honor, and all my television friends and family and former colleagues, WCCO colleagues. I'm humbled and deeply touched by this honor and your support over all these many years. Not as many as Stu's, but many, many years at CCO. It's said that if you love what you do, right, you'll never work a day in your life. And it's so true, because working in television news is a love. It's a calling, but it's a love. And it doesn't feel like work most days. Getting paid to share other people's stories, to travel to far-off places and witness history along the way, both good and bad, was nothing short of a privilege. I always felt that it was a privilege, and I hope you feel the same. First, I really want to talk about, Stu talked about this, nobody walks this path alone. This is teamwork. It takes many people to do what we do. You don't do it alone. No matter how talented you are, you're working with a team. So first, I need to thank countless photojournalists over the years, engineers, editors, producers, assignment editors, news managers. They all had a part in what I did and walked that road with me. I especially want to thank, posthumously, my very first news director, John T. Hofflin. You should have known this man. Incredible. He turned countless of us greenhorns into aggressive, hard-hitting, gritty journalists. That was the kind of guy John was, a Vietnam vet. He made us feel that what we were doing was important work. He also made it fun. Best yet, he taught us how to enjoy good scotch. And it was also at that very first job I met this guy, Mark Zuromski, best producer, hands down. I'd follow Mark to Milwaukee and credit him with teaching me about the ethics of journalism, how to write with brevity and clarity, very important, and in our free time, how to catch some pretty good salmon, right? WCCO gave me incredible opportunities over the years. I can't thank that station enough. More than imagined. Many of them with photojournalist and my very dear friend, Dave Cheney. "46 years in the business. We traveled the world together, Dave and I, and no matter where we went, whatever dicey situation we got into, he always had my back, and he always delivered under pressure, never missing a feed window or a live shot. Never, ever. And he amused me with some pretty crazy stories. Great stories. Dave can talk. Dave's the funniest man I've ever met. And he was the perfect antidote for having a bad day. Could always lift your spirits. But mostly, I'm indebted to this woman, my wife, Julie, who kept us fed when those small market paychecks were small, right? She was both my biggest supporter and my harshest critic. And I cherish her for that. She kept me grounded and focused when this business can sometimes go to your head. You see, she spent 40 years out of the limelight, working as a nurse, doing the most important and heroic work. Helping the sick heal and comfort the dying. Far more than I did as a television news reporter. She was always there for our daughters when I was off on some far-flung story somewhere, God knows where, grabbing all that attention, and she was at home raising those kids, and I love her dearly for that. So, honey, this recognition is as much yours as it is mine. I promised JJ 2.5 minutes, so I hope I'm close, and I'm going to wrap it up. In closing, I just want to say how very proud I am of all of you in this industry, in this profession. Despite the venom at times and the anger that can be vented towards the news media, what you're doing to educate and inform has never, ever been more crucial to a free democracy. So pat yourself on the back. Lastly, compelling stories, the work we see here tonight being honored, will always tap human emotion, and truth will always triumph. Remember that. I couldn't have chosen a more gratifying career, and I'm blessed to have had the opportunity. Thank you all so very, very much. I appreciate it. Almost left without this.
Everybody, one more time, a big round of applause. Bill Hudson, everybody.
Tonight's Circle honorees not only represent the time commitment to their profession, because we know it takes a lot of time to do the work that we do, but also a commitment to their communities.
Next year, Monica Hannon will celebrate 40 years of covering stories for the people in her home state of North Dakota. Monica has been the main anchor at KFYR since 1984. Do you remember that Apple commercial where there was the big screen? She was the one who threw the hammer through the guy's face.
Let me tell you something. She's not just a talented anchor and newswoman. She has authored 5 books. And in addition to all that, volunteers helping at a Bismarck-based charity to serve orphan, abandoned, and poverty-stricken children and their mothers in other parts of the world.
Monica Hannon is a familiar face to thousands of television news viewers in western North Dakota.
The town has just 20 residents.
She has anchored the #1 rated 6 and 10 p.m. newscasts for KFYR TV for more than 30 years.
She's part of the reason that KFYR TV has always been #1.
Monica began her broadcasting career in 1982. News director Dewey Hagan hired her as a field reporter to work at KUMV-TV in Williston, North Dakota. He says the job at a satellite station located on the remote prairie provided her with lots of challenges.
Somebody who would drive out from town 10 miles into the country every day to the studio through an occasional blizzard or dust storm and work in some kind of bare bones conditions on your own, and of course for very little money.
Monica became KFYR's evening news anchor in 1984 and has been keeping television news viewers informed on what's happening in their community ever since.
I think it's impossible to think of KFYR TV, even our call letters, and what we stand for without also thinking of Monica Hannon.
As the news director at KFYR, Monica and her staff won 3 Upper Midwest Regional Emmys in the Best Newscast category.
Monica defines local broadcasting and being a journalist first and telling the story and letting the viewers decide.
She has been named Best Anchor by the North Dakota Broadcasters Association 3 times and is also a 10-time winner of the Eric Severide Award in various categories. Congratulations, Monica, on becoming a member of the Upper Midwest Emmy Silver Circle.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Monica Hamm.
Thank you. You know, my first week in Williston, I was sent out to do a farm story. And the directions to get there were typical. This was back before GPS and cell phones. You know, you drive about 2 miles or so on county road, whatever, turn right on the 3rd gravel road you come to on the left, you'll see a red barn. Not unique in Williams County, so I got lost. And finally, in desperation, I pulled into a farmyard to try to ask directions. I chose a turkey farm with an apparent break in the fence, because as I made my way up the driveway, my car was suddenly surrounded by hundreds of turkeys. And we're not talking dozens here, we're talking hundreds. I was driving this Datsun sports car. It was very low to the ground. Turkeys are curious animals. I slowed to a stop, and there were turkeys in front of me, turkeys behind me, turkeys beside me, just sort of stretching their necks into the windows to look at me. So I honked my horn. I tried to drive slowly forward, then backward, and they simply didn't move. I didn't think running over them was an option. So what did I do next? Well, I did the thing any city girl would do. I rolled down the window. Rookie move. Did I mention turkeys are very curious? I learned a lot at that job, but the most important thing that happened was meeting my husband, Cliff Naylor. I have so many people to thank as I look back on my career. Dewey Hagan, who hired me for my first television job. Dick Height, who hired me again, not once, but twice. KFYR General Manager Barry Schumeyer for his support, and the Board of Governors for this honor, and my family and friends, of course. But when I think about who has been most instrumental in my career, it would be the guy who put his own dreams on hold so that I could fulfill mine. The one who taught me how to shoot a story and how to edit it successfully. The person who is fearless when he has a camera in his hands, who protects reporters when the bricks are flying. He's the kind of guy who drives out during a blizzard if you're late getting back, and who bought me not one, but 3 pairs of gloves because he frostbit his own fingers when we covered an elevator fire one January night. The guy who always put our family first. In short, the guy who was and is always there. So when I'm surrounded by turkeys, human or animal, you will always be the one standing beside me. Thank you so much for this honor. I appreciate it.
I really want to know what you are supposed to do when a turkey
Yeah,
surrounds you.
what do you do? Air fryer? Do you pull out an air fryer? I don't know. What do you do?
Is there a number you call? I don't.
211 or 911?
I don't know.
There's so many
There's a special
options.
turkey number.
Yes.
Okay.
As we honor lifetime achievements, let's take a minute to give a nod to those retiring this year. We thank those people for all their years of commitment to their coworkers and this community.
We also want to take a moment to honor those who we've lost in this past year. May your memories live on with your friends and your family.
Our next Circle honoree tonight can tell you a story in 30 seconds or sometimes 30 minutes.
Daniel Pierce Bergen is an award-winning filmmaker at Twin Cities PBS whose work centers on the power of people, place, and the past.
Let me tell you something about Daniel's work. It not only brings awareness to social and diversity issues, but also mental illness and problems facing today's young people.
I don't know a more reliable, fantastically gifted producer than Daniel Bergen. His North Star was the community. You could see that in everything he did. His commitment to youth, working with youth, was really, really important. He always talked about the stories he never learned in school about Minnesota. He is Minnesota's storyteller.
I find him to be someone who has studied his craft. So he's a master craftsman. He's meticulous in his research, and he cares about the stories that he tells. It's not over the top, it is precise, it's to the point, it's impactful, and it's authentic. Daniel Bergen is authentic. Daniel is considered in the community a treasure. He truly is. He is in places others haven't been. He stands tall in that space, and he represents the community in ways that we can be proud of.
Dan, who at a young age chose his weapon, the camera, and had so much respect and reverence for my great uncle Gordon Parks and to bear witness to him having an opportunity to interview him for Literature and Life. 2 generations of Black media makers. You know, the great Gordon Parks and the great Daniel Pierce Bergen together is something, really something to see. We right now, we need to know that there are Black visionaries that are lifting up hope, healing, and humanity, and telling those stories. And that's Dan Bergen.
Ladies and gentlemen, my play cousin and a passionate storyteller, welcome Daniel Pierce Bergen.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you, Board of Governors. This is a great honor. Thank you, other honorees. You all are amazing. You've done great work, and it's really humbling to be among you. I have to thank my colleagues present. It's great to have a lot of my friends from TPT here, but also past. In 30 years, I've worked with a lot of folks. So they're all, as has been mentioned tonight, what we do is teamwork. And so my team is big, and all y'all are part of my silver circle. I also got to thank another important co-producer for the work we do, and that's the community. As you all have heard, it can't be about us without us. And so I want to thank Reverend Alfred Babington Johnson, who you saw in the video, who represents that connection to community, and former TPT board member, but longtime mentor to me, collaborator, and really helping us further that narrative change. I have to thank my family, from my middle school monster movies to artsy college student films to endless PBS programs. They've been my forever fans. And of course, my lovely wife, Kim. So I was thinking back on these 30 years and my very first live broadcast that I produced in the early 90s, our old KTCA Report special. I was very nervous the day leading up to that evening, and we had just started dating, and this stunning girl sent me this gift package that I included Junior Mints, I seem to remember. I don't remember everything, but it was a sweet gesture, kind of steadied me, and off I went with my career. So thank you, sweetie. We also, Kim, you're also the co-producer on my greatest productions, and that's our daughters. Our oldest is a senior at Washburn High School, Go Millers, and it's homecoming tonight. And so after all kids have missed this past year plus, I couldn't ask her to miss homecoming. So she's not here, but our youngest is. Brianna is here. And I'm not sure, JJ and others, but Brianna and I might be making some history as father-daughter nominees tonight for our PSA series, Mini History. She's a voiceover talent. My colleagues have heard me say this before. My favorite journalism quote is the New York Times reporter adage that our role is in part to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. And I always like that one. But after hearing Babington talk about authenticity, wow, and Robin, my dear friend and mentor, describe my work as hope, humanity, and healing, I've got a new phrase that I'm going to use for my work going forward. And I would love for you all to do that too. As you go back to your newsrooms, your production cubicles, and to your colleagues, keep those words in mind. Narrative change and strength-based storytelling are crucial in these really difficult times. So please take Robin's message and the work of myself and my colleagues at Twin Cities PBS, that idea of hope, healing, and humanity into your work as well. Thank you.
One more time, Daniel Pierce Bergen, not only an amazing man and documentarian, the best dressed man on this stage so far tonight.
Yes.
Oh. So our final circle honoree tonight is a native Iowan who too has spent his whole career serving the people of his home state.
Brad Pouch is a native Siouxlander working Siouxland's news channel KTIV. Brad's been a sports anchor and a reporter since the mid-1980s. He's not focusing on pro sports, but local athletes and games who are the hometown stars.
Last year, Brad got a headache on his way to work, and he hasn't been back on the air since. Tonight, Brad, his family, and his friends are sharing his story of his own battle to get back in the game of covering sports.
Hey, you get to work at KTIV for 30 years and talk about sports the whole time? I'd take that deal. We had 3 full-time sports people when I got here in 1990. I was the 3rd guy. I really like what I'm doing, and it's made my life better because I enjoy going to work each day and I enjoy doing what I'm doing.
Brad has lived and breathed sports his entire life.
As a matter of fact, you'd want to know how far it is to any particular town. Everybody goes and asks Brad because he knows Siouxland like no other.
He's probably been to every single school in the Bergen area, probably more than once.
He's one of the hardest working guys I've ever met in television, and he's never satisfied because he always wants to make it better.
It kind of exhausts me just to think about what it is he does on a daily basis.
And being from the area, I think the viewers maybe trusted me a little more that I was one of them because I grew up here. I knew where the gyms were in the school. I know where the football fields were in the town when I went there. But then when I started working at a TV station, I loved the video aspect of it, putting a story together and then putting the video to it. Growing up an hour and a half from Sioux City, I grew up watching KTIV, so I always knew kind of what they were about. You know, we have expectations at our station of how we want to do things and how things should be done. And we've been lucky enough, I think, to have people who have those same values. They want to do things right and do things the best they can.
Tonight, we have some very personal news to share with you about a member of the KTIV family. This morning, sports director Brad Pouch underwent surgery to remove a tumor from his brain.
We tried to figure out how could the public send notes, send emails, send well wishes to Brad because our phones started lighting up once we made the announcement of what was going on, and we created a page called Well Wishes for Brad. And where people can click on it and send an email that comes to a special email account that we have, and about every couple of months we print them all out.
Over 3,500 emails that we've delivered to him, and we have volume 3 that we're getting ready to send him this week, so get those emails in.
Put them in a binder and take them to him so that he can read them. So I think we're getting ready to send him volume 4 at this point, so we are well over probably close to 5,000 emails that he's received.
I would say that Brad is just a true champion. He is strong and he's a fighter, and he continues to impress me with his desire and his will to keep moving forward.
It's kind of touching to see that he's touched so many people.
People have been very gracious when I've been here. I've met so many people that I consider lifelong friends, coaches, players, other broadcasters. If I would have been in the same room with some of the people I've met, you would have told me that when I was a kid, I never would have believed you. Johnny Bench and George Brett, guys like that, I never thought in a million years I'd be able to even be in the same room with them, and to get a chance to interview them, just beyond anything I ever imagined. Going to the NBA draft, going to the NFL draft, going to the Super Bowl in 2018, I never thought I'd go to a Super Bowl. Yeah, I have to pinch myself sometimes and never thought it would happen.
Brad, congratulations on your induction into the Upper Midwest Emmy Chapter Silver Circle. Well deserved.
You deserve it, and you deserve it so strongly, and I am proud to be your friend and your coworker.
Well, no one deserves it more than you. You've made the last 5 years that I've been at KTIV a blast.
You deserve this honor very much, and we miss seeing you around here at KTIV.
Brad, you are so good at what you do. I am so happy that you are receiving this honor. You have earned it. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Brad, and welcome to the Silver Circle.
Brad, we're so proud and thrilled for you. You've been a mentor, a leader, a role model, and a teacher, even when you showed me how to shut the car alarm off at a football game. Congratulations to you for this accomplishment and all your contributions to the broadcast industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Brad Pouch.
Hello, my name is Joe Pouch.
I'm Mary Pouch. He can't be here tonight. He is actually at Mayo Clinic receiving stem cell replacement therapy, so he can't be around large groups in the time of COVID,
But he did write a short speech, and we're going to share that with you right now. I wish I could be here tonight, but I'm in the middle of my stem cell transplant. I'm very appreciative of the Silver Circle Award. I've heard from viewers I didn't know who were watching, from Battle Creek, Nebraska to Spirit Lake, Iowa. I often tell my boss that we should go out there more often. I also appreciate my coworkers, many of whom who have stopped by to give me encouragement and a few laughs. I didn't know I had so many people pulling for me.
I also want to thank my wife, Sally, my children, Joe, Reggie, and Mary, Mary also joined the family business of journalism. Every time I think about not trying as hard, I think about their young faces, and I am ready for the battle. I also want to thank Sally for her dedication to me. And finally, I want to thank the Emmy and KTIV family for their tolerance of me and awarding me the Silver Circle Award. Thank you again.
I think we should have one last round of applause for all of our Circle honorees tonight. Yes, yes.
So, as we take a break, I do want to remind you all, we're going to take a quick break before we get into the other part of our program. There is a silent auction still going on right now, and A, there's a lot of very good things in that silent auction, and B, all of the proceeds for that go towards our scholarship fund. And that is a really important part of tonight, because while we've gotten to honor a lot of amazing people already this evening, and we obviously have a lot more honors to give, a big part of tonight is also investing in the next generation of great storytellers and news people. And so, go out there, make very high bids, except for the two things that I bid on for right now.
And for those of you at home and the ones here, you can text to give. We all up on technology, okay? So text Midwest Emmys to 56651 and follow the prompts to donate, or you can scan the QR code on your phone at the center of your table. So you can do that as well. So at your table, if you're here, or if you're at home watching, you can text to give.
Now, before we go, I'm being told we're doing a great job tagging Midwest Emmys on your social media. I am relatively sure that is 77% Sheletta.
That's all me. I'm all on Twitter. I'm tagging right now.
So if everybody else could help in just making sure that we are all doing the social media tagging, wouldn't it be fun if Midwest Emmys was trending tonight?
Hello, why don't you do like one of the Ellen selfies, turn around and take a picture of the crowd.
This is good.
And then we can all share that and tag it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
I'm going to do that. Everybody, okay, look, I'm going to do this. All right, everybody, I'm signing. Okay, there we go. Shaletta's in there. Everybody looks so excited, sort of. They want dinner. Okay, that's great.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so we're going to take a little break. Stretch your legs, bid on some auction items. I'll meet you at the bar for a drink. And then be back here in 15 minutes, and we're going to start handing out our regional Emmy awards.
All right, Charlotte.